omoteyazukuri, the exterior storefront building style, the sophistication behind the design of the main building. The exterior appearance of tondaya is similar to other townhouses in the area, but the design of the second story is different. The general architectural style of the storefront building from olden times included a truncated second story called the tsushi style. The height of the ceilings in both the first and second floors of tondaya, however, are about the same. This style of architecture, called grand or authentic second story style, became popular from the later part of the Meiji period, 1868 to 1912. The second story windows were covered with long, thin slats of latticework, called mushikomado, insect cage window in Japanese. But later, the latticework coverings were removed and replaced with solid glass windows in order to allow for people to escape from the second floor in case of a fire. One distinctive feature that gives the Kyoto townhouse its distinctive look is the first-story eaves. These eaves shield from the hot rays of the sun in summer and yet allow for the warming rays of the sun in winter. The inner first-story eaves allow for the changing sunlight to transform the appearance of the gardens. The eaves that face the street are called tori hisashi, street-side eaves, and their height is usually adjusted to conform to the height of other townhouses on the same street. When it rains, you can walk under the eaves from one end of the street to the other without getting wet. On a sunny day, a great place to stand around chatting is under the eaves. On top of the street-side eaves is a small statue of Shoki, a god that drives away evil spirits and protects against demons. Thanks to Shoki's power, the prosperity of the business and the health of all the people working here continue to be protected. Thanks to the ingenuity of the townspeople and the designers, these street-side eaves contribute to the harmony of the cityscape and foster a respect for nature. This kind of latticework facing the street is called itoya latticework, ito meaning thread. The style of the latticework differed according to the type of business, but this itoya latticework was the norm in establishments handling woven cloth. The latticework let in light and breezes, but protected from the direct gaze of passers-by. The sliding hikido doors allow for passage in and out of the building. When large objects have to be moved, the odo great sliding door is used. And for daily use, there is a kugurido small sliding door attached to the larger sliding door. The first thing that greets us upon entering is the long, hard-packed earthen plaster corridor, called tori niwa in Japanese. Since olden times, the earthen floor inside a house was called niwa, literally garden in Japanese, so this corridor came to be called tori niwa, literally passageway garden. The earthen tori niwa passageway is divided into 3 sections. Right inside the door is the mise niwa hard-packed earthen plaster floor, mise literally meaning showcase. In olden times, merchandise was brought out from the adjoining storehouse and displayed in this area, where business transactions also took place. This eng02 area is where the well that provides water for the household is located. This area also serves as an entranceway for visitors going to the zashiki guest rooms. We can see that there is a demarcation between this area open to outsiders and the area beyond, which contains the living quarters. From the eng02 area, we pass through the noren slit curtain and step into the hashiriniwa, or flagstone passageway, where we enter the space of the main living quarters. Here we can see the okudo-san cooking stove of the kitchen. These rafters holding up the high walls lead up to the open space under the ceiling called hibukuro in Japanese. The high ceiling and skylight serve as a chimney to let out the heat and smoke from below. The tori-niwa passageway area is laid out on the south side of the main building site. The high ceiling skylight was designed to also help light up the otherwise dimly lit hashiriniwa area. The main living quarters is separated from the hashiriniwa flagstone passageway by sliding doors. This area is multi-purpose and serves as a place to keep household items or serve meals, as well as a place to make preparations for Shinto or Buddhist rituals. Having separate entrances at each of the demarcations of the long tori-niwa passageway is another unique feature of omoteyazukuri style of townhouse. We are greeted by a small garden called tsubo-niwa in Japanese as we step up from the eng02 area. It's interesting to note that there are no flowers in this garden. When asked why this is so, the head of the family says, "Flowers are beautiful, but they are short-lived. We can't show wilting flowers to a guest." This way of thinking reveals the mindfulness of a true merchant. This entranceway area has no second story, which illustrates the respect paid to guests or customers. We look down on no one. The master rooms of the main building are quite expansive, including 2 6-mat rooms and 2 8-mat rooms. The smaller 2 rooms, called tsugi no ma in Japanese, are for the servants. The larger 2 rooms, called okuzashiki in Japanese, are for receiving honored guests. The master quarters include a Buddhist altar, a display shelf, and the tokonoma, or elevated alcove. The tokonoma displays a flower arrangement and a hanging scroll. This is an important part of the hospitality shown to guests. The luxurious pillars in the main building are beautiful natural wood, which were deliberately painted with bengara, a rusty red pigment made by heating loess. This may be the traces of the caution of merchants in the Edo period not to flaunt their wealth, or it may be part of the sophistication of design in olden times to deliberately cover up the extravagance of using the highest grade materials. The engawa, literally side edge, is a great place to sit and enjoy the 4 seasons. During the cold winter, this can be turned into a sun porch by closing the glass sliding doors facing the garden and the fusuma doors of the room behind. The glass itself was handmade using a special technique, but we can no longer purchase such glass. The natural wavy pattern of the glass creates a softness in the sunlight. The main building does have a second floor, but there's no stairway to be seen. It has been hidden behind the Fusuma sliding doors of the Tsuginoma servants' area. In Japanese, it's called kakure kaidan, literally hidden staircase. The space under the stairs has been designed like a chest of drawers, so this is also called the staircase of drawers, hako kaidan in Japanese. With the limited amount of space in the long, narrow design of a Kyoto townhouse, the staircase was hidden away in a corner where it would not usually be conspicuous. At the top of the stairs is the second floor zashiki, literally the second floor sitting room. With its delicate interior decoration and the soft light pouring through the large windows right and left, this room has a tranquil feeling. The nakaniwa, or central garden, that adjoins the okuzashiki master rooms is the largest of the 6 small gardens in Tondaya. The chozubachi stone water wash basin to purify your body, the stone lanterns, the stepping stones. This garden has been designed to look like the space leading to a tea house for the tea ceremony. Stones have been modeled to create the likeness of a dragonfly, since olden times said to be a messenger of the gods. If you visit Tondaya, make sure to look for the dragonfly. In the hot summertime, water is sprinkled in the 6 small gardens, as well as the Tori-niwa passageway. As the water evaporates, it acts as a heat absorber to cool the surrounding area. When air passes over the wet surfaces, it becomes cooler, and a cool breeze can be felt. Embracing this natural circulation of air from garden to garden, and then to the inside spaces, the cooling effect illustrates the ingenuity and sophistication of this design. In this small garden, there is a well that was especially dug for the gods, called eng02, the Golden Well. The merchants of Nishijin believe in many different Shinto and Buddhist gods: the god of the well, the god of water, the god of fire, the god of the kitchen, the god of the storehouse, and so on. Every morning, the head of the household draws water from the golden well. This pure water, along with fresh uncooked rice, is placed at the 6 Shinto altars as a prayer of gratitude. Tondaya treasures itself as a tangible cultural property, but also continues to protect and preserve the intangible traditions, the rituals, and the spirit of omotenashi, Japanese hospitality.